Is World War III an inevitable event waiting to unfold? If we take a step back and look at history, it seems like major global conflicts have a way of repeating themselves. The pattern is there, clear as day. First, there was the Great War, the so-called war to end all wars. Yet, just 2 decades later, the world plunged into the abyss of World War II. So, why do wars happen? Well, it's a complex mix of reasons, really. Let's start with political factors. Tensions between nations, territorial disputes, power struggles. These are all common causes. Then there are economic factors. Competition for resources, trade disputes, economic sanctions, they can all contribute to brewing conflicts. And let's not forget social factors. Nationalism, religious extremism, racial and ethnic tensions. These can all ignite the flames of war. Now let's imagine, just for a moment, a third world war, a hypothetical World War III. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? But it's crucial to remember that this is not a prophecy or a forecast. It's a thought experiment, a way to explore potential outcomes and hopefully learn something from them. In this hypothetical scenario, what would trigger such a catastrophic event? Would it be political tensions reaching a boiling point, economic crises spiraling out of control, social unrest spreading like wildfire? Or perhaps a combination of all three? And how would the world respond? These are all questions we'll explore in the following scenes. In the end, we must remember that conflict, while a recurring part of human history, is not inevitable. It's a choice, and it's up to us as a global community to make the right choices, to learn from our past mistakes, to work towards peace and understanding rather than division and hostility. As we delve into this hypothetical timeline, remember, this is a thought experiment, not a prediction. Every war begins with a spark. What could ignite World War III? In the intricate tapestry of global relations, potential catalysts for a devastating global conflict are woven in. One such catalyst could be territorial disputes. History has shown us time and time again that the lust for land has the power to ignite wars. Borders, after all, are not always lines drawn in peace, but often scars from past conflicts. If these scars were to be reopened, the resulting discontent could spiral into a global showdown. Another potent spark could be an economic crisis. The world economy is a delicate, interconnected web. A significant disruption in one part of this web can send shockwaves around the globe. And when people's livelihoods are threatened, they can resort to desperate measures. The Great Depression of the 1930s, for instance, played a crucial role in the rise of extremism and the onset of World War II. In a world that's even more economically intertwined, a similar crisis could have far-reaching and potentially catastrophic consequences. Then there are ideological differences. These are perhaps the most volatile sparks of all. Ideology is about belief, identity, and ways of life. When these are threatened, people fight back hard. The Cold War, a clash of ideologies between the capitalist West and the communist East, brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. In today's age of information and misinformation, ideological rifts can be amplified and manipulated, increasing the risk of conflict. And let's not forget about power struggles, resource scarcity, and environmental factors, all of which could act as sparks in their own right. The world is a tinderbox, and all it takes is a single spark to set it ablaze. So, what could ignite World War III? The answer is complex and depends on a multitude of factors, but it's clear that there are numerous potential sparks out there, any of which could lead us down a dangerous path. These sparks could set the world ablaze, leading us down a path to World War III. As tensions rise, the world braces for impact. The hypothetical scenario of a third world war is not just about the immediate sparks of conflict, but also about the slow, inexorable buildup that precedes it. It's a gathering storm, a time of shifting alliances and nations preparing for the unimaginable. In this speculative scenario, you can almost see the world as a giant chessboard, each country considering its next move, weighing the pros and cons. Alliances that once seemed unshakable may begin to waver as nations consider their own interests and survival. New friendships may also form, born out of necessity and shared fears. It's a complex dance of diplomacy, a test of loyalties and strategic thinking. As the storm gathers, nations would be preparing in more tangible ways too. Militaries would be mobilized, resources stockpiled, and defenses bolstered. Technologies once deemed too dangerous or controversial might suddenly find themselves in the spotlight as countries scramble to gain an edge in the brewing conflict. The wheels of industry would turn faster than ever before, fueled by a sense of urgency and the specter of war. And what about the people? How would public sentiment evolve in the face of such a threat? Fear and anxiety would undoubtedly grip many, but it's also possible that a sense of unity and resilience might emerge. In times of crisis, communities often come together, finding strength in shared struggle. Protests could erupt worldwide as individuals voice their opposition to the looming war. The voices of the people, their hopes, fears, and demands would become an integral part of this gathering storm. The hypothetical Third World War is not an event, but a process. It's a series of decisions, actions, and reactions, each one adding to the growing tempest. It's a time of uncertainty and dread, but also of potential solidarity and resistance. As this storm gathers, the world would be holding its breath, waiting, watching, and hoping. The storm is gathering, and the world holds its breath. The spark ignites, and World War III begins. In the earliest stages of our hypothetical global conflict, the world map would be redrawn by the strokes of military strategy. Imagine for a moment the chessboard of global powers, each nation positioning its pieces, ready for the opening gambit. Now let's delve into the mind of a general. There would be no room for error in this high-stakes game. The first moves in this global chess match would likely be swift and decisive. Major powers would aim to secure strategic locations, choke points, and resources. You'd likely see a flurry of activity in the world's oceans. Naval battles, unseen on such a scale since World War II, could occur as nations vie for control of the sea lanes. These maritime highways, vital for the transportation of goods and resources, would be contested fiercely. On land, armies would advance, retreat, and maneuver for advantage. The landscapes of continents could change dramatically as territories are won and lost. Urban warfare could become a grim reality in many cities, as it often does in large-scale conflicts. In the skies, air superiority would be of paramount importance. The nation that controls the air often controls the battlefield. You'd see dogfights between advanced fighter jets, bombing campaigns to cripple infrastructure, and perhaps even the ominous drone swarm, a chilling feature of modern warfare. In the digital realm, a silent war would rage. Cyber attacks could cripple nations, taking down power grids, disrupting communication networks, and destabilizing economies. This could be a war fought as much with code and keyboards as with guns and bombs. In this hypothetical World War III, we'd likely see a mix of traditional warfare tactics and modern technology. The strategies, battles, and developments would be shaped by the geopolitical landscape, national resources, and technological capabilities of the nations involved. In this hypothetical scenario, the world is now embroiled in World War III. As the war progresses, the world is changed forever. The battlefield is not just a piece of land anymore, but it encompasses the air, the sea, the outer space, and even the virtual realm of cyberspace. The face of the war is changing, and so are the alliances. Countries that were once bitter rivals are now finding common ground against a shared enemy. The enemy of my enemy, as they say, is my friend. The progression of conflict is not linear. It ebbs and flows. It takes unexpected turns. It's a chess game on a global scale with nations as chess pieces, each with their own unique strengths and vulnerabilities. Technology, too, plays a pivotal role in this hypothetical World War III. The advancements in warfare technology are staggering. From autonomous drones to cyber warfare, from advanced missile systems to AI-driven strategies, the war is fought not just by soldiers, but by scientists, engineers, and programmers. The line between the battlefield and the laboratory blurs. Yet, amidst the shifts in alliances and the dizzying pace of technological advancements, the most profound change is perhaps on the home front. The impact of war on civilian life is immeasurable. The fabric of society is torn apart, economies are in ruins, and the psychological toll on individuals is immense. The daily life as we know it is disrupted, and the world is engulfed in a state of fear and uncertainty. Moreover, the environment bears the brunt of this conflict too. The scars of war are not just on the land, but they seep deep into the oceans, the air, and even the space. The war, in essence, is not just against an enemy nation, but it's a war against our own planet, our own home. But amidst all this chaos, there's a glimmer of hope. The human spirit is resilient. It adapts, it evolves, it finds a way to survive and even thrive in the face of adversity. The war rages on, reshaping our world in unimaginable ways. Every war ends, but its effects linger. Wars, especially those of global proportions, leave an indelible mark on the world's canvas. In the aftermath of a hypothetical World War III, the landscape of our planet would be drastically altered, both literally and metaphorically. Let's consider the geopolitical changes first. The war would likely redraw the world map and shift power dynamics. Nations once powerful might crumble under the weight of the conflict, making room for new players on the international stage. Allies and enemies would be redefined, alliances reformed, and the global balance of power reshuffled. Now let's turn our gaze towards societal impacts. The war would undeniably bring about a great loss of life and infrastructure. Yet, amidst the ruins, the human spirit often finds a way to flourish. The post-war period could see a surge in innovation and creativity, a phenomenon often observed in the wake of major conflicts. The rebuilding process would necessitate advancements in technology, science, and social structures, potentially leading to a new era of progress and development. However, the cost would be immense. The scars of war, physical and psychological, would take generations to heal. The societal fabric would be torn apart, and stitching it back together would be an arduous task. Communities would need to find ways to reconcile, rebuild, and move forward. Lastly, let's contemplate the lessons learned. The harrowing experience of a Third World War might finally ingrain in us the futility of conflict on such a massive scale. It could force nations to reevaluate their approach to diplomacy, encouraging peaceful resolution of disputes and fostering international cooperation. In any case, the aftermath of such a cataclysmic event would be a time of great change and reflection. It would be a time for humanity to come together, to heal, and to build a better future from the ashes of the past. In the wake of World War III, our world would be forever changed. What can we learn from this hypothetical exploration of World War III? The thought of a third world war brings forth images of devastation and loss, a catastrophic event that would undeniably alter the course of human history. However, it's crucial to remember the purpose of this exploration is not to predict or incite fear, but to underscore the importance of understanding, diplomacy, and peaceful conflict resolution. Reflecting on this imagined scenario, we can glean the significance of maintaining open channels of communication and fostering mutual respect among nations. In this hypothetical world, the lack of these elements led to a global conflict, a scenario we must strive to prevent in our reality. The progression of this hypothetical conflict highlights the destructive power of modern warfare. It serves as a stark reminder of the grave consequences that could ensue if diplomacy fails and tensions escalate. This is not a future we want. It's a future we must actively work to avoid. History has taught us that wars do not resolve conflicts, but rather they deepen divisions, breed resentment, and wreak havoc. The lessons from the two world wars of the 20th century should be enough to deter us from ever allowing a third global conflict. In our interconnected world, the ripple effects of such a war would reach far beyond the immediate areas of conflict. The global economy, the environment, and the very fabric of our societies would be deeply impacted. The aftermath would not be limited to the warring nations, but would reverberate around the globe. It is not a question of who would win, but rather how much we would all lose. The potential for catastrophic loss of life, environmental destruction, and societal collapse should be enough to convince us of the importance of peaceful conflict resolution. The hypothetical exploration of World War III is not a prophecy, but a cautionary tale. It serves as a mirror, reflecting the potential consequences of our actions and urging us to choose the path of peace, understanding, and cooperation. While World War III is a chilling hypothetical scenario, it serves as a stark reminder of the need for peace, understanding, and cooperation among nations. Today, we've journeyed down a terrifying path, a hypothetical World War III. We've explored the chilling inevitability of conflict, the spark that could ignite such a catastrophic event, and the gathering storm that would follow. We've delved into the onset of war, charting its progression and the unimaginable aftermath it would leave in its wake. This hypothetical exploration has been a sobering reminder of the devastating impact of global conflict. It's underscored the importance of diplomatic efforts, international cooperation, and the value of peace. We've also reflected on the lessons we can learn from history, the importance of understanding the past to prevent repeating such destructive patterns in the future. This exploration serves as a stark warning, a call to action for us all to strive for peace and understanding in our world. Let us hope that this remains a hypothetical scenario, a path not taken. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.